Hi, this is Nancy Herald, and welcome to my show, High Road to Humanity. In every episode, I tell you powerful true stories filled with great wisdom that you can use in your own life as you strive for a higher road to travel. My featured guests will have their own unique stories to tell that enlighten your mind and your soul. So kick back, relax, and learn the secret to success when you take the high road.
First touch, strong connection, it lays deep in your soul.
Hi, this is Nancy Herald, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And I have a wonderful guest as usual. Suzanne Ross is here today, and we're going to talk about some really interesting stuff. But her book, oh my God, it's so heavy, but it's so cool. It's called Rise Up, Awakening Through Revelation. And here it is, and it's 10 days on the Ascension path. So all you guys out there who are waking up and wanting to learn more, this is a really interesting book because she takes you each day for 10 days on her journey and you evolve. And it's really interesting. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But before I bring her on, there's a couple things I want to talk about that are going on in humanity because it's really important that I bring it up. There are live updates, two killed in Israeli from the Gaza rocket strikes while the West Bank protest turns deadly. And I had talked about this a couple days ago, and I don't feel really good about this whole situation. So an airstrike launched from within the Gaza Strip that hit a packaging plant in southern Israel Tuesday has killed 2 Thai workers, police said, as Israeli forces and Palestinian militants continue to exchange rocket fire. Now, the blast, which also left 7 others injured, according to the Associated Press, came after the Israeli military said it identified and struck 9 underground and above ground rocket launch sites in Gaza so far Tuesday. This goes on, and I don't know what's going to happen if we're going to intervene in any way, but this is something that's really making me nervous, and I just hope that there can be some rest. So send prayers over there. Prayers help. Prayers have energy. So send them over there. All right. So now for my good news. I had to have some good news today. So there are 35 elephants that are arriving in amazing Florida sanctuary to retire among forest, grassland, and 11 watering holes. Now check this out. Some kids dream of running away to join the circus, while the Ringling Brothers elephants that have been performing every night might have been dreaming about a place like this. A dream that is now coming true. Now check this out. So 35 elephants under the care of Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus are being welcomed to a 2,500 acre Florida reserve. They can wander through their favorite habitats, wetlands, grasslands, or forest, and splash about in 11 different watering holes. And I just want to bring that up because I love elephants, and I'm really glad that they did that. So, all right, now we have today with us Miss Suzanne Ross, and Suzanne is new to the show, so let me read a little bit of her information. She has dedicated her life to bringing together higher teachings of divine enlightenment to all humanity, through inspirational books, group workshops, live events, energetic sessions, and internet television series. She's building a community in Sedona, Arizona. Now, she was born in Shasta, California, which I think is really interesting. And she grew up in the mystical forest of the sacred Mount Shasta, playing with the fairies and elementals and trolls. Now, she says she was visited by regularly by galactic beings who would come down and bless her with celestial love and healing light. And I have to tell you, your energy is so strong, and I'm an empath that I can hardly speak. And that is why I'm having a difficult time talking. And I don't know, welcome to the show, Suzanne. I don't know if people realize this. I'm an empath and I'm picking up your energy.
Aw, thank you, Nancy. And I'll try to tone it down so you can speak.
No, I'm serious. I don't have that problem very often unless I run across somebody who their energy is so strong that it impacts me. And I start to sweat and get hot. And your energy is so strong, even through Zoom, it's impacting me. Welcome to High Road to Humanity.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. I'm so delighted to be here today. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be on your amazing show, High Road to Humanity. I am a fan of your show and
thank
have
you.
watched many interviews that you've done. And just am excited to be here today and share my love and light with your audience.
Well, God bless. And you are a strong entity, I have to say, because you guys, I don't run into this very often where there was a guy, I'll tell the story really quick. There was a guy who was a realtor and he was really good and his energy was so strong. He sold one of my house. I'm a realtor too, but he sold one of my houses and I could barely be in his presence because his energy was so strong. And as an
Wow.
empath, as an empath, I can't help it. I pick it up. So it's like, whoa. So you've got some really good information for us to learn today. You know, I want you to tell us your story because you had something really miraculous happen to you in December of 1995. Tell your story.
Thank you for that. And let me just turn my phone off. I just realized it wouldn't beep. Okay, so yes. In 1990s, I was working in the corporate world back east. I was born in Northern California in Mount Shasta, but grew up in Southern California and with a marriage had been moved to the East Coast. We both worked for the same corporate company. So I got a job in the corporate world on the East Coast. Both things were very intense. I found the weather on the East Coast to be really brutal, but more than that, I found the mean-spirited politics in the corporate world to be brutal. And I came to a point after 7 years where I was having anxiety attacks. My hair was falling out in clumps. I had eczema all over my skin. And I just walked out into the kitchen one day and said, there has to be more meaning and purpose to life than this. Wake up, fight brutal traffic, get to work, fight brutal politics, fight traffic, come home, eat dinner, go to bed, get up and do it all over and again and again. Your
body was rejecting it.
Absolutely. And so was my mind. I was having anxiety attacks and I knew that I was terribly displaced with where I was at. And also, I was misplaced in the corporate world. I just knew that I didn't fit in and never would. I remember sitting in conference rooms with others and the jokes they thought were funny, I didn't get. And just the way that they would throw each other under the bus to climb the ladder. And, it just didn't resonate with me and their unethical behaviors and immoral practices. And
it got old is what you're telling me. It got old.
Yeah. It lacked meaning and purpose as well. I just felt like, this isn't what I signed up for. Life has to have more meaning and purpose than this. So one day, when I walked out to the kitchen and I just had that thought, if there's no more meaning and purpose to life than this, I'm out of here. This isn't what I signed up for. And about that time, the phone rang and my parents were calling from the desert of Southern California, inviting me to come and visit them. And I said, well, that's exactly what I need as a break from it all. It was December in New Jersey and blizzarding. And so I hopped on a plane. And when my father met me at the airport, he drove me to this desert valley. And there's a point where you can look down upon the valley before dropping into it. And I just remember seeing like clear blue skies, palm trees swaying in the wind and the sun shining brightly. And I had, right. I had this sense that I had come home. And after a few days of fun in the sun with my family, love and laughter, things I hadn't experienced in a long time, I woke up one morning just overwhelmed with this impending sense of doom that I was going to have to return to my life in hell. And in that moment, I felt compelled to run out the door and run toward the mountain range behind their house. And I threw on my shoes. And as I was running toward the mountain range, tears were flowing down my face. And I just thought, maybe if I just keep running, I can escape my fate. But I ran to the top of this mountain. I threw my arms up to the sky. This is pictured on my book, Wake Up. I never know how to hold it on here. I threw my arms up to the sky and I just said, I am miserable in the extreme and I see no way out. And in that moment, I just felt this total sense of calm wash over me. And I heard a voice resonate within me and all around me. And it said, can't you see you've come home? You'll stay here and heal yourself and many others. And in that moment, I knew that was the absolute truth for me. The anxiety and depression melted away and was replaced over excitement and enthusiasm over my new life in the desert as a healer. I felt spontaneously healed in the moment, aligned with my higher self and my true calling. I ran down the mountain, and for the next 2 weeks, I just felt like I was following the energy. That morning, I went to the local 5-star resort and said I was applying for a job in health and wellness. They hired me on the spot, asked if I could start in 2 weeks. And so as I was walking through the parking lot, I was thinking, well, this is really surreal. I just agreed to take a job here in the desert in health and wellness. I have a husband, a job, a home, a life on the East Coast.
Did you have children too, or was it just you and your husband at the time? It was just you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did he say? I mean, when you told him, hey, honey, we're going to, I'm going home.
Yeah. So he didn't come.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that happens, that happens. Yeah.
He was an international businessman, and he traveled around the world, and he loved traveling around the world, and he was never home. And our relationship had we'd been growing apart, although he was sad to see me go and offered to come to California. And I was like, no, I don't think that's it.
It's okay. Yeah.
It's okay. We're good. Go keep traveling around the world, And so I moved to the desert, and it wasn't long before I met the love of my life, who blew my hair back and still does today, 25 years later. So yes, but I became a healer in the desert, opened a wellness center, and became very successful offering fitness and nutrition counseling to retired snowbirds. And then just kept growing my business. And I never looked back. I'm still in the business of health and wellness, although it's morphed in many different ways over the years, much more focused on spirituality now, conscious media, and yeah.
Well, your book was amazing. And I have to tell you, and your energy was so strong. You have to be really strong energy wise to really affect me. And you did right away. So that's crazy. But I knew by reading your book that you knew a lot. I always like having these people on, you guys, who know all this stuff, and you know so much. And I'm so intrigued. And when we come back from commercial break, what I want you to talk about is you write in this book about how creation came about, and how you believe through your interactions with the galactics, I guess, pretty much, is how creation came about. And I want to talk about that because I really resonated with that. And I thought that sounded absolutely true. So if you wouldn't mind, when we come back from commercial break, if you can just talk about that, how this all began. So and it's not too far from what the Bible has to say, by the way. So this is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Suzanne Ross. Her book that we're going to look at today is called Rise Up, and this is High Road to Humanity. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and this is High Road to Humanity, and I'm here today with Suzanne Ross. And Suzanne, I want you to tell the audience, because I just thought this was amazing, how you figured out a different story of creation, and talk about it, because I believe this is a really good, this is it.
So when I woke up on my journey, the first thing I did was look at my hands and go, who am I? What am I? Mm-hmm. Where am I from? What is reality? Like, what is all this? Mm-hmm. And so I developed an insatiable quest, a thirst for answers, and went on a quest to find them. And so as I did, I started to look into everything from science to spirituality to religion to metaphysics to quantum physics. And as I dove in, I started to get answers. Also, at this time, I was engaging in deep trance meditations, and I started doing automatic writing and channeling. I was taking long walks out in nature. I call walking meditations.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that later in the show too, if you wouldn't mind. So we'll get back to that. Yeah.
Yes, because it is a part of how I started to get these answers to the biggest questions of all time, right? Mm-hmm. And so I started to get this picture about how creation started with this infinite sea of beginningless and endless consciousness. And that really comes from Buddhism. But I began to understand through meditation, through just connecting into the field of oneness, through also various channeled material like the Urantia book, how in this sea of infinite consciousness, this one great self awoke. And upon awakening in this sea, almost like a wave, reflected upon this self and created a mirror image. And in a moment of recognition, light ignited and the divine Trinity was created as gender speaking. Just Father, Son, and Spirit. And so I just like to make that point about it's genderless, but we're going to refer to it for the Trinity as the Father, Son, and Spirit. And so then this Trinity rested in a state of perfect unity in bliss until they got restless and wanted to create, to discover a different way to know thyself. And they knew they couldn't create in infinity. They needed to create a place that had a beginning. And so to start creating, and so they reflected upon themselves and created the creative Trinity. And this whole, this point of the inverted triangle, creating a hole in infinity, like a portal.
Okay.
And this portal then became a portal between infinity and this new creation called eternity. You could call this the central universe of divine perfection, where here there was a beginning where the creative Trinity could start creating things and beings in their perfect divine. So here is an existential reality where things and beings exist.
Okay. So you started to realize that the reason that we're here has a lot to do with the energy and the light and the consciousness and the awareness. Talk about that.
And so this sea of infinite consciousness flows into eternity and is the infinite source of the one infinite creator of which we are all of and from. We are all a drop in the infinite sea and the entire sea all at once. And so with eternity sourced by this infinite source of pure consciousness, it expands into eternity. So there's the paradise core at the center through which this infinite source flows. But here in this eternal universe, the central universe, you have then the eternal children who are existing in this existential realm. And there's a point then when the eternal children also then get restless and they want to know thyself in a different way. Mm-hmm. beyond existing and being into experiencing and doing. And so they project this mental construct called space-time, which is simply a reflection of this one perfect universe.
Mhm.
And they project holographic fractals of their personalities into space-time dimensions. Now, Theosophy would say that we have 12 aspects of our personality in each of 12 dimensions for 144 soul extensions.
Okay.
And so just like the one great self expressed itself as the 12 archetypes, the original 12 archetypes, which would be like the zodiac wheel.
Right. And that's what I thought. So that's astrologically. Okay. And I like the 144 because that's in the Bible. And go back to that. That's where that 144 comes from, isn't it? It just got convoluted a little bit.
Right. 12 times 12 being 144. Correct. And also this idea that we are projecting these 12 aspects of our personality. And so 12 being the divine trinity expressed in each of the four directions as each of the four elements. And that again synchronizes with the zodiac wheel, because we know we have 3 signs in air, 3 signs in water, 3 signs in fire, 3 signs in earth to make 12. So the divine trinity is always expressed in everything.
Okay. That is so interesting to hear you talk about this. And so so there's 12 of me.
In this dimension.
I have so there's different dimensions. And, I've had Gene Decode on the show and he talks about seeing different timelines. Can you see different timelines?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you can see, and so I have to understand this. Okay. So, and he says, and I just want to confirm. So as you evolve, there are different timelines. And so as you evolve, you continue on to this timeline or whatever, as you evolve. And then other people who don't evolve stay on this timeline and they learn here and we learn here. Is that right?
I would say dimension rather than timeline if we're speaking on an evolutionary level.
Okay.
And so in this 3D timeline, yes, I do timeline regressions where I guide people into a hypnotic trance state where they reveal to me who they're being in different 3D timelines. And it's important because it's a way of gathering those fragmented soul aspects from different timelines so that you can return to wholeness. And also, when you merge with these other aspects of who you're being in different 3D timelines, then you also absorb these innate gifts and abilities, talents, and skills that they have, because it's all you, but it's a soul reunion that allows all of the beings who you're being in 3D all at once
to come
in
into
this
play.
eternal
To
now.
come into play. Right. Okay. So as we connect, and then what you're saying is, and I just need to understand this, as we connect to source and we're more in line with who we are and we're more in balance with who we are, then these other aspects come in because the energy allows for it.
So if you say, as we connect to source, I would say the source of who you are in truth as one eternal soul who is projecting these holographic fractals of your personalities into these different timelines and dimensions. And so when you can see through the eyes of your eternal soul, you can see who you are being in all of these different timelines and dimensions, because you as the eternal soul are behind the scenes of space-time projecting these. You could say that you were the programmer programming all of these different virtual realities and projecting your avatars into them.
And this is to grow, to become part of source again.
Yes, very good. Absolutely. we're here in these time, space realities in order to know thyself through experience and to experience love. That's the meaning and purpose.
Yeah, you keep saying something that has hit home with me in the last few months, and that's know thyself. Know thyself. And that's what I've been working on because I think it really comes down to that.
And to experience love.
Yeah. And not be afraid. And not be
Yes,
afraid.
moving out of fear and into love, big
Not
time.
being
This is
afraid.
especially important now.
And I want to talk with you. We got to go to commercial break. I wish you were here for 2 hours, but you're only here for an hour. So we got to go to commercial break. But when we come back, I want to talk about the heart. Because that to me, that's the key, is the heart. All right, you guys, this is Nancy Yearout. I'm here today with Suzanne Ross. Her book is called Rise Up, Awakening Through Revelation. It's 10 days on the Ascension path. You guys got to check this out. She takes you through the 10 days. It's really interesting. This is High Road to Humanity. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Suzanne Ross. Suzanne, it all comes back to the heart. And I learned to think with my heart or ask my heart questions. I try to teach my clients this. I always say, put your hands on your heart. Ask your heart the question. Your heart doesn't lie. I think that, or I feel like we all need to start coming from the heart. Can you talk about that?
This infinite field of pure consciousness is pure love. It is the pure love of the divine source that flows into creation. We are all infused with that divine love and divine light. And I feel when you put your hand on your heart, you're tuning into the eternal soul that I was talking about in the last segment.
Mm-hmm.
I have this sense of being here and now. And when you put your hand in your heart and you become totally present in the now moment, you've entered the truth of who you are as an eternal soul. And you can tune into your eternal soul. This is your highest self, which is sourced from pure love. And so it's the perfect place to put your hands to tune into the love of the divine source, but also wisdom. The wisdom of your eternal soul and connecting with your eternal soul. And you can do that with your hand on your heart when you become totally present in the eternal now, because it's in the now moment that you enter the truth of who you are.
Right. You see a lot of people waking up, but I also see people who are not. And to me right now, it's such a big divide. It's like you either have woken up or you haven't. What do you see?
I do believe this is the time of a great split. Some would call it a bifurcation. And so in my book, I talk about the ages of the Yugas, which is really significant right now. Okay. And this idea from Hinduism that our solar system literally travels on this 25,000 year ascending arc into the golden ages. And then it turns the corner and it goes into this descending devolution arc into dark ages. Now we've seen this 3D elliptical wheel our solar system is traveling on from golden ages to dark ages and then back to a golden age. We've seen this repeated throughout history as once we were these temple building cultures, these advanced civilizations building ornate temple sites that keep getting dated later and later or earlier and earlier, if you will. Mm-hmm. And then here we find ourselves in the dark ages and we can barely build a shack in an outhouse. And these dark ages where you have Attila the Hun lopping off heads and burning libraries. And
I know it's confusing to me. I mean, we've got like, we got so far advanced. What happened to us? Did we just not know how to handle it?
Hinduism would say that when we are in the closest proximity to the center of the Milky Way galaxy, we are then in alignment with divine consciousness, which they would call Brahma. And so when we're in this golden age of enlightenment, we are receiving these powerful solar flares containing divine consciousness. Also, these solar flares are supercharged, raising our love light frequency. But these supercharged photons contain information. Light contains information. That's being proved over and over again, these photons. And so here we are being catapulted into this golden age of enlightenment where we have the opportunity to get off the 3D wheel and ascend into the next dimensional plane of higher consciousness.
Right.
Now, you would say, well, it would seem that we would only be 2021 years on the ascending arc toward this golden age, but I came into awareness of a channel named Mavlana, who has channeled the solar hierarchy for many years. And she says the solar hierarchy made a decision, a collective decision, to catapult humanity into the golden age from the year 1900 to 2000, with each year equaling 100 years. So in 100 years, we were evolved 10,000 years.
Wow.
If you look at the advancements from 1900 to 2000, you can clearly see in 100 years, we made tremendous progress in many ways technologically, and also many people stepped on a spiritual path and became enlightened.
Right.
So
where do the galactics fit in?
right.
Because here we are. I mean, we're evolving, but we've got all these other entities here that are causing us issue and that make it, they're causing havoc. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So as we enter this golden age, before the turn of the arc, some people are going to go back on the descending, devolving arc, Nancy, and there's no judgment about it. They're just not ready to get off of the 3D wheel. They came here to learn the lessons that 3D duality has to offer, and they're going to go around the wheel again.
And that's why we can't judge. That's why we can't judge, because they did this on purpose. And for us to judge is absolutely ridiculous.
Definitely. There is no judgment day. It's just where you're at on your journey. And so that's the split I believe we're seeing now, where those who are awakening on their journey have a chance to get off the wheel and become enlightened and move into the next higher dimensional plane. But there are those who will continue around the wheel, but it's a devolving descension arc back into dark ages. And so it's all just about the lessons we came here to learn. Now, of course, the brotherhoods of light, Metatron, Melchizedek, Michael, Maitreya, all of these solar hierarchies, they are here to assist those who have made a conscious choice to serve the light selflessly and to make this ascension. And so these would be our galactic brothers and sisters in service to the light. Now, I don't tune in to the darkness. I am a light worker and choose to focus on the light because I believe where our attention goes, energy flows. But there may be those who are serving the dark agenda and maybe connected to those races who are interested in service to self and are engaging in this dark agenda. It's sort of, I would say, a battle for the souls of humanity between the darkness and the light. And so those who are focused on the darkness and the devolutionary descension arc would then be pulling humanity into fear and separation, while the brotherhoods of light are pulling us up into love and unity.
Okay. And I get that. And so I just want to say, because I get that completely, because I sit here in balance and I see everything going on around me and it doesn't affect me. I, like you, work with the light, but I am aware of what else is going on. So it's just interesting to watch. I look at it differently now. Now I'm a spectator. I look at it as a whole, where I didn't before. So I guess that's why I asked the question, because I'm watching it all go on, and I guess I'm just wondering how the story is going to end. You know
I
what I
think that
mean?
it will end differently for different
Everybody.
people. I think that those who have chosen the light may very well start to see reality unfolding in a way that brings us more love, unity, peace, and harmony. While those who are choosing the dissension devolution arc will start to see a reality unfold that has more chaos, confusion, destruction, control, compliance, and all of that. But there is, I believe, a bifurcation of reality where we will start to see reality unfolding in a different way as we move into the light, while those who are choosing the darkness will see reality unfolding in an entirely different way as they, go on the dissension arc. And so I
I
believe that
agree. Yeah.
reality will.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just interesting because right now I'm watching it just like you. I'm watching it happen and I'm watching it unfold. So it's quite interesting, to see it all. Now,
Right.
yeah, it just is. Now, I want to talk really quickly. There's so many things. I have lots of questions for you, but you talk about different ways to meditate. And the reason I bring this up is because I find it quite interesting. You talk about walking while you're meditating. You're talking about, to get to a different place. Talk to the audience a little bit about those different types of meditations and how it can enhance our connection with our higher self, I guess.
Thanks for asking that. Yes, so I like to do indoor and outdoor meditations. And for the indoor meditations, I guide people through various journeys, whether it be a journey through the chakras, where you're connected into the heart of Mother Earth, ascend through your Kundalini line of energy and illuminate, cleanse, clear your chakras, and then expand into the heart of Source. That is also sometimes called running energy. And I think really powerful meditation for grounding and expanding and cleansing and clearing. And then outdoor meditations, I love to do walking meditations because then you are out in the creation. You're out in the natural world. You're connecting to the living life force and all living things and beings. And there you experience a profound sense of oneness as you start to realize the life force illuminating and animating your being is the same life force animating all living things and beings. And then you can find yourself in this place of oneness where you actually feel in communication with all living things and beings, connected, and of course, connected to Mother Earth and the divine source.
Right. Hey, we got to go to commercial break. You guys, I'm here today with Suzanne Ross. Hey, Suzanne, tell everybody how to get in touch with you, how to get your book, all your information.
SuzanneRossWellness.com is my website, and the homepage has everything that I do and offer right there on the landing page.
Awesome. Hey, this is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity, and we will be right back. Hi, it's Nancy Yearout. I'm here today with Suzanne Ross. Suzanne, I just think it's amazing. So what do you do? I mean, to help people, if somebody signs up with you, do you do past life regression work, or what do you do?
On my website, I actually offer a series of 10 sessions.
Okay.
And so they are progressive. We usually start with an energy center attunement and a higher self alignment. And then we'll move into gathering those fragmented soul aspects from different timelines and ultimately move into a multidimensional soul reunion. When you start to merge with the higher dimensional aspects of who you're being, you really start to ignite dormant DNA and bring more of your brain online. What I discovered about why we only use 10% of our brain and only have 4% of our DNA activated is because we're only being 10% of who we are in wholeness here in this dimension. Okay. And so as we merge with these higher dimensional aspects, we ignite more of our dormant DNA and bring more of our brain online. We become more of who we are. We expand into all of who we are. When you start to do that, you really awaken advanced gifts and abilities. And so we will move into the multidimensional soul reunion, the DNA activations, and then ultimately we do a divine purpose reveal so that people can truly tune into their divine purpose, their divine mission here on planet Earth. And then we'll even do a strategy around implementing their divine purpose as their most authentic self.
Interesting. Interesting. It's probably gratifying to see so many people wake up. It is for me, actually. It's gratifying to see. I see a lot of younger people waking up. You know?
Yes, I do too. I do spiritual journeys out in the Red Rock Vortex here in Sedona, and such a wide range of people come here before COVID from all over the world, but now from all over our country. And I mean, I get people from the age of 12 to the age of 72, you know, and they're all awakening right now. Some are, at a place where they feel kind of lost. Some feel fed up with the 3D reality. Some just find themselves awakening where they have a sense of transcending this 3D matrix and expanding beyond the limitations. And I think COVID has been a huge catalyst for either awakening or more contracting. It's either expanding or contracting.
And I know this sounds strange, but in a weird way, I think it was done on purpose so that we would have to go within.
Yes, I do think it was purposeful as well on many levels to see who was ready to awaken, expand, and move into the light, and who are still fast asleep and moving into the darkness. And again, there's no judgment about that. It's just where people are at on their journey. They're either trapped in the 3D matrix of enslavement and entrapment, or they're ready to expand, blow the lid off the 3D matrix, and evolve and advance and ascend into the 5-dimensional plane of awareness.
Right. And I've seen this in families, and I've seen this, where people, when you start to ascend and you start to wake up, you're different, you're a different person. And then, you start to associate with different people. And a lot of times marriages break up, or maybe even your family doesn't understand. And I see a lot of that. I really do. How about you?
Yes. And, I encourage people to be so flexible with the way that they move forward on their own awakening journey. For those around them, their loved ones, to just allow without judging. I myself, when I'm with the more 3D family members, I just adjust myself to talking about what they're interested in, and so that I don't disassociate from people who truly love me by being so adamant about my own awakening journey, and trying to set myself apart from them in any way.
Right. But you see them in a different light. Actually, what I have realized is I have felt more compassion, to be honest with you. I know everybody's on a different journey. And so when I see somebody who doesn't understand, I realize they don't understand, and you have to be compassionate. And I think that's where compassion comes in. And yeah. That's really what I feel more than anything.
Right. Love and compassion, and meet people where they're at. I'm not going to go to a family reunion and, blow my horn about what I believe. I'm just going to be cool, hang out, have fun, and talk to people about where they're at on their journey.
Right.
Because I love them, and, everybody's on a different place on their journey. And it's, oftentimes not appropriate to talk about these more advanced concepts around metaphysics. Maybe the more important thing is to just share love with one another, and, take interest in whatever they're into and doing, and just, watch what you talk about. I mean, I don't think family reunions or even getting together with certain family members is the right setting. Even colleagues specifically, it's not always the right setting to talk about religion or politics. I mean, and that's been true forever, right? Even if you're religious, spirituality,
Yeah, I think if we can lead by example and people can see our light, that's what I really feel like. If we lead by example and go out into the world and show that we have, my biggest thing right now is having integrity and being honest and being decent and, compassion and kindness. Those are the things, if we can lead by example, then other people, I think, will catch on and realize that it is the way to go. You know what I mean? Um,
Perfectly said. When people see how much inner peace and ecstatic bliss that you have and you radiate, they might want some of what you're on and they might start to ask questions, but it's only when the student is ready. And I only teach when asked.
Yes, and I've heard that, and I agree with that. And somebody always says, "Wait, who told me?" I don't know. I always have so many people on my show. They always say, "Ask, wait till they ask you twice." And I always thought that was interesting, because maybe somebody would ask you just flip it the first time, but the second time they really meant it, that they want to learn and that they want to be a little bit different. And I think that's really good. What can you share with the audience today as far as, for all of us who are out there working on Ascension? I mean, give us a little bit of guidance and what can we do on a daily basis? Do you have any really cool practices that maybe you want to share, or besides meditation? I mean, what else can we do?
And so I believe that we can open the gates of ascension by dedicating our lives to the spiritual path, whether we are engaging in practices. I love the Merkaba meditation. I love sitting in the direct line of the sun and doing sun salutations. I love doing mantras, saying sacred names. I also enjoy researching different types of creation codes and, just getting yourself in that focused state of meditation where you can open to download advanced codes of creation. And so these are some of the meditations I offer in my book, Rise Up. I offer initiations and activations, but I also inspire you to go out into the world and shine your light of love as brightly as you can, to walk through your reality and acknowledge and connect with those who you are interacting with or even just passing by, so that you're not looking down at your phone. You're being very present when you're out in the world, just shining your light of love. And it's amazing how many people you can uplift as you move through your day if you make an intentional effort.
You're absolutely right, because look at what your energy did to me. No, seriously, think about that. And I'm an empath, so I pick up your energy, but other people can pick up our energy as we're out in the world. And I don't think people look at life like that, because we are made up of energy and that's all we are. And you talk about that light. And I love how you talk about the information comes through the light. That is really interesting to me because everything's really about the light, isn't it?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
they are just showing more and more about how photons respond to
Yeah.
information, carry information. These are encoded photons and they're supercharged, raising our love light frequency right now if we're open to receive that. So we can also send our love and light through the
Yes.
central sun as well
Yeah.
as receive it.
Yeah. So in the morning, I always bring in the light through my crown chakra and I take it through my body. And then I always ask for what color I need. And I've taught the audience to ask for a color. But also, yes, I like that you say send light to other people, because it's just like radio waves. So I can send love and light to family members or to you, and they will receive that. We've only got a couple more minutes, but can you address that really quick so that people realize?
With the power of our intention, we can send information, love, and light across the matrix because we are all intricately interconnected. And so intention is extremely powerful, and especially if it's love inspired, or we could say love powered.
Yeah, love powered. I like that. All right, you guys. Now, before we get out of here today, don't forget to book a psychic reading with me. I am an intuitive. I have a clear knowing of things. They call it clear cognizance. Go to my calendar on nancyyearout.com and you can book there. And Suzanne, give your information one more time.
SuzanneRossWellness.com.
Okay, you guys. Thank you. You are just a pleasure. I'm going to have you back.
Oh, please do, Nancy. I would love that.
Thanks for coming on.
Sending you love and many blessings.
Oh, God bless. Thank you. Hey, you guys, it's Nancy Yearout. It's High Road to Humanity, and we will see you next time. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.
Connect the dots and keep the motion. Can achieve your goal. Let's hit the high road.
Hey, you guys, join me next week on The High Road for more stories filled with wisdom, love, and hope for our future. Have a fabulous week, and know that by staying on the high road, you will make it to your destination. Visit my website, nancyyearout.com, where you can book a private session to learn how to tap into your own abilities. And check out my YouTube channel. It's Nancy Yearout's High Road to Humanity.
You can achieve your goal.